Hello and welcome to On the Teach number 11. This will probably be the first one that you see because I'm probably going to take the rest of them off or bury them pretty deeply because this is the first one that has a decent microphone. So let me start from the beginning. I'm a teacher. I've done it for about 20 years. I've taught a very unusual class. I work with children that have emotional or behavioral disabilities, known as emotional disturbance. Sometimes you'll hear behavior disorder, other things like that. But I work with children who have trouble learning mostly because of those types of problems. They may also have some cognitive problems that would lead to like intellectual disability, or they could have learning disabilities as well, like dyslexia, or just have difficulty with math in general. But their main problem is they have trouble building and maintaining positive personal relationships with staff and peers. That's my job, to teach them the exact same thing you would teach somebody who isn't emotionally disturbed. And ideally, they learn just as fast and progress just as quickly once you have identified their disability and made appropriate adjustments, either in how the information is delivered, or how they can report it, or how they can demonstrate that they've learned it. The truth of the matter is, my first job is to get the students to attend, show up, awake, and alert. In a regular school, you'd have to try and sometimes work to make sure that they got to school on time. Help out the parents to make it easier for them to get the kid to school on time. Or catch the bus. God, I hate the bus. But even in the hospital where they're more or less captured, sometimes their minds are someplace else, or they're so angry or upset or afraid or scared, they can't attend. They can't pay attention. They don't have the attention. They don't know what attention is. A lot of them have had weird, quirky things for most of their life, and so their parents don't usually take them out in public, so they get less church, they get less scouts, all those things that would help teach you these kind of social skills you would need. So you're behind, so you go even slower. And so when they show up, you have to show them what a student looks like. They don't look like they have their head on their desk. And the student's not supposed to look like their eyes are closed, their mouth is open. That's not how you're going to look. You actually have to have your bottom in your chair and your feet on the ground. No, that means you can't squat in the chair. I don't care if it's comfortable, you have to sit on the ground. There's actual evidence that shows you can learn better, certainly handwriting, if you have your bottom in your chair and your feet on the ground. I learned that lesson really well. And when I entered a class where the desks were all too big for my students and their feet couldn't touch the floor. So you get step stools, or you wrap up phone books. Remember those? Wrap up phone books in brown paper and contact paper. Use those as a foot pad. So many things they tell you are best, and then they give you a room that's less than the best. It's your job to transform it, like you transform the children. Doing this rather difficult, rather stressful job has taken its toll. I have post-traumatic stress disorder. My stress was never so great. Nobody ever died. A couple of broken bones. Very heavy duty. Kid stuff fights. Bloody lips. Bloody noses. But it was the constant threat of something bigger happening. And you knew something was going to happen. I was talking to a guy today who'd done recess duty, and said, did you expect a fight to break out every day? Expect multiple fights to break out every day. Well, that was kind of what I had to expect. It was your job when it happened. Shock. Pounce like Batman. Separate. Keep everybody safe. Boundaries. Hold on to a kid who wants to hurt you or themselves or somebody else. Hold on to them until they no longer are a danger to themselves or others. Demonstrate you. Job 2. I couldn't finish out this year. It was hurting me to go in. Not physically, but emotionally and mentally. I love my students. They're dear, sweet kids, or they're rotten, terrible kids, but they're just kids. I care about them deeply. And they weren't hurting me, but it was hurting me to do the things I needed to help them. I had to be able to look them in the eye and say, you can do it. I believe in you. All you gotta do is try. Learn everything you need to learn. Time. If you don't know it now, you'll learn it soon. It's gonna be okay. I try not to say that one anymore. I say everything's okay right now. Everything's okay right now. It wasn't true to me. Maybe it's true to you guys. Maybe it's true to the universe. But it didn't ring true to me. And I felt like I was lying to them to try and help them. Which I've done before. Lie to help people. You're a good mother. I believe in you. I know you mean to do the best. Some people, you have to tell them they've already done it before they'll do it the first time. You praise them for something you want them to do because you know they're going to do a good job. It can really work. But not for me. This didn't work for me anymore. I keep saying that over and over. I knew it was going to be right with some of them, and I knew it was going to be wrong with some of them. You never know which one's which, so you can't pick and choose and say, I know I'm going to treat you like there's hope, and I'm going to treat you like you're going to end up abused and neglected in some institution. You don't do that. But you know, when you got a class, about a third of them are going to get better, and about a third of them are going to get worse. Believe me, worse for these kids is in an institution where they're abused and neglected. A lot of them are there already. So it's just going to be a continuation of what they've already got. And no, it isn't going to get better. They're going to stay that way until somebody accidentally kills them or they have more kids of their own. But you don't know which is which. and you try and skew the curve. You can get it to where 40% get better, 20% get worse. You never know. That's a huge jump. You know what that would mean if there was a program where 40% got better and only 20% got worse with the population of kids? That would be a groundbreaking achievement. That tiny, tiny improvement. 10% improvement. It just shows you just how blind we are. We can only help a third of them. A third of them would get better on their own. A third of them do get better on their own. It's that middle third where nothing happens to them. They just get better. Supposedly we base it all on research, best practices, on academic papers, science. Here's how it works. Somebody gets a really good idea, an idea that can work. And they're fired up about it. And they get a bunch of other people fired up about it. And they get to it. And it's a good idea. And they're fired up about it. And it works really, really well. And they get a big bump in their improvement. Everybody goes, whoa, this is the latest thing. Everybody needs to do this. So they spread it out across the district. And the people who are really into it now become trainers. And the trainers train trainers. And then those trainers go out and they train the other folks who look at it and go, oh, it's another fad. I remember when we did this 20 years ago. And they're not so fired up about it, and they don't think it's such a hot idea. So they go back and they put it to their class, and the same old third thing happens again. Everyone goes, well, that must not have been such a good idea in the first place. They're all good ideas. Depends on the kid which one's the best idea, but that's far too radical a solution. We haven't got the money to do that anyway. Are we getting better or worse? It's impossible to tell because the world is so different. Students are so different. And what they need to know is so different. We won't know whether we did a good job until they're long gone and graduated. There's some basics you try and get out there, and we're slipping further and further back on many of those basics. There's new stuff out there. Some of it we hardly don't know what it is. Luckily, the kids are really good at teaching themselves that stuff. But those that aren't really good at teaching it to themselves, we're even worse teaching it to them. I'm not saying we didn't make progress. I'm not saying it didn't matter to individual children as they came through the leaps they took. Mostly I just tried to convince them that there was one person in the world who respected them, thought they were worthwhile, wanted to listen to them, wanted to understand them, and wanted them to understand me. Maybe that's the only thing that was ever important in the beginning. But then there are teachers that are really needed. I mean, you're not going to learn calculus on your own. You're not going to learn French on your own. Actually, there's a lot of kids out there that can't learn to count to 3 without my help. I can really knock down barriers to learning. Make it so more kids can learn instead of less kids. Many teachers can. Most teachers can. They can knock down barriers to learning. Not all. Not most. So, depends on the kid. Depends on the subject. Depends on the day. But it's supposed to be orderly, supposed to be a transition skills. They're supposed to scaffold. While you listen, while you care, while you explain that while talking about abuse is important, school's not the best place. You've already disclosed. So now it's time to really keep that with your therapist or caseworker and try and set it aside for school. You've got somebody to talk to about this, right? Mr. B's not trained in that. I am trained in how to teach you how to read. Would you like to do some reading now? To take your mind off your troubles? Why is the right thing to do make you feel like such a bastard? You must not be looking at it the right way. I really have lost my point of view. I used to believe there was some good to be found in all this. I used to be able to present it like the good was really there. I just have trouble seeing it now. Maybe I'm just too old. Maybe that was newer to me. I can see the good better. It's a difficult situation to be in. I'm not there. I want to be there. And I can't be effective there. So I have to stop being there. Start being here. So I can come back there. Go someplace different. Well, at least I got the sound working.